Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. A beautiful Wednesday morning, joined by myself, Adam Beydoun, my host and co-host, Jeff Iafrate. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Ready for some Thursday Night Football tomorrow, but until then, got a lot to talk about.
All right, well, it's going to be a jam-packed show. Got Sean Murphy on later in the show.
We do.
We'll get to Aidan Hutchinson, Jim Harbaugh's comments on the Rich Eisen show just yesterday, where Jared Goff ranks currently among NFC quarterbacks, and much, much more. Should the Lions bring home Ndamukong now that they've freed up some more cap space? All that and more we'll get to, but we got to start the morning with DeAndre Swift. I don't think we've talked enough about his performance. I know it came in a loss, and you know what? Even before I get to Swift, this is the epitome of the Lions' Week 1 performance. And I've had a few days to sit on this, right? Come in a Monday, give up 38 points. Kind of want to, jump in front of Woodward every once in a while. But you don't do it. DeAndre Swift is the first running back in franchise history, other than, take a guess,
Barry Sanders?
to rush for 100 yards in the season opener.
Not too many of them.
Must be nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
Must be nice. Great company to be in. He had the highest PFF rating of any running back in the NFL, 82.3. The closest were Christian McCaffrey at 79.5, Nick Chubb at 79.3, and then A.J. Dillon rounded off that list at 76.7. That is what you thought DeAndre Swift was when you took him in the second round all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's going into his, third year now?
Yep.
This is a big year for him. And to come out with 144, I'm not telling you he's going to average that every game or that he'd average almost 10 yards a carry. But what's important is that's the ceiling right there. That's the ceiling you saw yesterday. That is, when he's on, he's a problem. Good luck tackling him. Good luck in the open space, in the open field with him. Good luck when the Lions put together a run scheme that allows him to make one decision and one decision only. Very simple. And that is, I have to make this one guy miss. What am I going to do to make that happen? And like you saw in the first play that they ran, their first running play, handed off to DeAndre Swift. They run a wham. Swift gets into the hole. He's got to beat one defender. I'm taking DeAndre Swift over anybody in the NFL right now in a one-on-one matchup. Hell, it's not just Swift. Most running backs, I will take them in the open field one-on-one. You saw Javonte Williams, what he did in the open field against Seattle. Give me the running back every time. And he made you look damn smart for it. Hell of a Week 1 performance. I think what's more important, too, is his ability. I don't think many teams have a home run guy.
No.
Right, so let's go around the North right now. Justin Jefferson. I don't consider Dalvin Cook a home run hitter.
No, he'll probably just kill you over the entirety of the game.
Sustainable success,
yeah.
right?
And then Aaron Jones he ain't really
not
a home run hitter.
There are few home run hitters in the NFL.
Right.
Just in the North, it's just Jefferson and Swift. Let's go to the NFC East. CeeDee Lamb. Mike Evans. I would say Mike Evans. Oh, he's not in the East, excuse me. But CeeDee Lamb, no. McLaurin, early.
Yeah, no.
Early to say.
Gibson, no, he's not that type of,
no.
He's not that type of back.
Saquon,
I think
Saquon is a home run hitter.
Yeah, he is.
And then you go to I'm missing
the Philadelphia
Eagles. I don't see a
Sanders.
home run hitter.
No, you're right.
And then the West. It's Cooper Kupp's not a home run hitter.
Yeah.
Hopkins, I don't think is a home run hitter. Can make big plays, but not a home run. The definition of a guy that on any given play, he's taking it to the house. You don't have that in the West. Let's go to the NFC South. Mike Evans, he is notorious for the long touchdown receptions.
You could probably put him in there.
If you want, I would really, he's borderline in and out.
I don't think anybody would.
Beyond the point, there's nobody. They are very
Jonathan
far.
Taylor, but that'd be it.
They are very far and few to come around. Christian McCaffrey, right?
Those guys.
These guys that when they touch the ball, they will make something happen. That is what you have in DeAndre Swift, Jeff.
And Zach brings up a great point, too. J-Mo is about to be a home run hitter as well. I think Jameson Williams will definitely be a home run hitter. But again, to your point about DeAndre Swift, I think what makes him so great, especially on this Lions team, is he's one of probably the only guy who can go from take this thing over the top in terms of make big plays. You saw it with the 50-yard run. I mean, he's the only home run hitter on this team right now until Jameson Williams gets back. But until then, he not only is what this offense is going to be run through, but he is what makes this engine go. He is the closest thing to being a superstar, I think, on offense for the Lions. We'll see what Jameson Williams looks like. But still, I think DeAndre and what he can bring, his skill set, it not only complements Jared Goff so well, but it's the perfect fit right now for the Lions with what they have at the offensive line. So I'm excited for DeAndre, man. I think this is the year. And Sam Flannel, I still think he's a little bit crazy, saying he'll lead the NFC in rushing. But right now he's third. So week one, he's at least had a good start.
He's had a good start. And that's what you needed out of him. And we'll get to Jeff Okudah a little later. Because, again, I can take a lot of positives from Sunday. I can look at the fact that your offensive line was probably one of the more physical offensive lines we've seen in week one. I can take away that you have a receiving core that they're all legitimate threats. I'm not saying they're all pro receivers, but you have options. The tight end disappointed, yeah, sure. But the backfield, that was nice. Jamal Williams came in, did his job, I would say above average, nothing special.
Right.
Not like Swift, though. That was special. Defensive side of the ball, Okudah had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm Rodriguez was the 5th highest rated linebacker. We'll get to in just a second. Take positives. You could see this team being able to, again, they were very undisciplined. Very undisciplined. And honestly, it's on coaching. If you want to be honest about week one, it's not your talent cost you the game. It's you left your players one-on-one with A.J. Brown, and you had no contain on Jalen Hurts. It cost you the game. You want me to blame the players? We know what the players are.
Right. But they contributed to not containing
They weren't perfect, don't get me wrong. They weren't helping the situation either. But if you're a defensive end, Jeff, and I'm your head coach, and I tell you, hey, I don't even prepare you for Jalen Hurts, or to the extent that I needed to set you up for success. You're just going to over-pursue like they did all game.
Right.
And you're going to leave gaping holes for Jalen Hurts to just run through. That's not ideal. That's bad coaching. That's on Aaron Glenn. That's on Dan Campbell. So there are positives there, and that's why we focus so much on the coaching week one, because you got to take away some positives. You have to. They are there.
Right.
Malcolm Rodriguez, the 5th rated linebacker in week one in the NFL. 73.5, I believe, was his rating. Walk me through his performance. Your thoughts?
I mean, he is if you talk about a PFF guy, like a guy who's going to be rated high, it's Malcolm Rodriguez, because it seems like even as a rookie, like he's always in the right spots. He's always by the football, and he's always one step ahead of the offense. And you saw it against Miles Sanders on that 3rd and short, or that 3rd and 1, excuse me. He comes in, takes him helmet to helmet, takes him down. Malcolm Rodriguez, we knew, coming out of the draft, at least he was going to be you saw him, 2-time state champion in wrestling. The heavyweights made their breakout video for him, talking about, analyzing his game. And they knew. The heavyweights knew, but also the more we watch Malcolm in Hard Knocks, in training camp, you could tell. Like this guy, Calvin Shepard, determining this guy should start over the guys that I have here that have been playing in the NFL for years. Like that tells you a lot about a 6th-round rookie. I mean, he plays the right way, man, and it seems like he's always in the right spots. And then that's something that Calvin Shepard went over on Hard Knocks, like talking about watching the film with the linebackers. Like, look at Rodrigo. He's filling the gaps. He's doing exactly what he's asked to do. Like, you just don't see that out of a 6th-round rookie, but he lacks experience, and I think that's something that Anzalone has. So eventually, as Malcolm Rodriguez gets more games under him and gains more experience, you might even have make a tough decision, because he's going to be your number 1 linebacker.
I wanted to correct myself. It's 73.4, actually. That was his rating, not 75. 73 0.4. Six tackles, 4 solo, and a tackle for loss. I think what we need to understand is, what can Malcolm Rodriguez be? Is he going to be in the backfield like Micah Parsons?
No, I mean, let's be real.
I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be an ass here.
I don't think that's his game. But
no, it's not. But,
right.
So let's understand why he's there on the rating. 0 missed assignments.
Yeah, that's true.
Hitting the gaps.
If he's
helping
tackling
in the run defense.
Yeah.
Granted, they got eaten up with the run game. Why the team never had a spy, we can get into this whole conversation, but he was on the field for about, 60% of their snaps in week 1?
Yeah, he didn't start out there.
He will slowly become their primary linebacker. He's just, that is a tip of the cap to the heavyweights. I got to say, they were on that from the beginning. And a tip of the cap to Brad Holmes. I'm sorry.
That's the
Guys,
big tip of the cap right there.
Again, you want positives? You want positives this morning? You just got a starting linebacker out of the 6th round. You have a starting wide receiver out of the 4th round. Not all of them are going to be all pros, Hall of Famers. I'll take those. I'll take those players any day of the week. Kenny Golladay, like Neil Rules says all the time, his contract in September is more than Amon-Ra St. Brown's entire contract.
Mm-hmm. And now you
What
have
do
Rodrigo.
what do you think Malcolm Rodriguez's contract is? Brad Holmes, again, you are doing things the right way. Fundamentally, as a GM, you have something here with Brad Holmes.
Right.
Coaching has to clean it up, and the play just needs to result in wins now.
And I just want to address also, because I get the point of, well, Malcolm Rodriguez is having success with the Lions because of the lack of depth at linebacker.
What does that mean?
Meaning, if you put Malcolm Rodriguez on any other team that has a good linebacker room, of course, yeah, to your guys' point, you're right. He's not going to play as much as he will with the Lions, but it doesn't mean he's a damn good player. He's at least playing solid
hey,
as
buddy,
a rookie.
Who said that?
I'm just saying. I mean, people have told me that. I mean, in chat,
Whoever those people are, you give them my number. Hey, jackass, let me make one thing very clear. Malcolm Rodriguez, whether he starts on Seattle, Chicago, anywhere,
he's going to have an impact.
Is giving you that performance right now. Oh, well, he wouldn't have started. Well, a team that has good linebackers wouldn't have drafted him, dipshit. So how about you take off your little thinking cap a little bit, go put on a dunce hat, and go sit on the corner. What a stupid-ass comment. What an ignorant comment. Jesus Christ. What are we dealing with? When we get back, Aidan Hutchinson, first game, not the best. I would say terrible performance, but I'm not worried at all.
No.
And we'll discuss that in just a bit. But before we do, I have to tell you guys about how you can win front row tickets to the Detroit-Washington game this upcoming week. And that is by tagging Woodward Sports using hashtag Woodward Front Row on Instagram or Twitter with a picture of you and your significant other, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your cousin, I don't know, whatever you're into. If you're down from the South, you know what I'm talking about.
Whoa.
Hey, your wife, fiance, whatever it is. If she's better looking than you and you've done a hell of a job, you scaled up in your life, well, we're going to reward you with 2 front row tickets. We're announcing the winner September 16th. Don't delay, post, and tag Woodward Sports both on Instagram and Twitter. And remember to use hashtag Woodward Front Row.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? The Academy of Warren for professionals that have a passion with working with students. For professionals also in the K-8 department. For more information, please visit and call 586-552-8010. And on how to apply, don't forget, we are the Academy of Warren.
All right, Aidan Hutchinson, we all remember. We all remember the debut in the preseason. Atlanta Falcons, the second snap of the game, after he made a tackle on Marcus Mariota on the previous play, shoots into the backfield, makes a tackle for loss, blows up the play. Everybody's excited. Phenomenal. That's what you expected. Wow, whoa, whoa. All right, cool. For a single drive, he was what you thought he was. Preseason moves on. Time for the regular season. Jeff, this is not a rhetorical question. I do want you to answer this.
Okay.
How many teams in the NFL have Jalen Hurts?
1.
Okay. How many teams in the NFL have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts that can move like him?
Quite a few. Like him, probably only 1. I would say Lamar.
I would put Kyler in that, no?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just so tiny. It's funny.
I know.
But you're right. You're right. In terms of elusiveness,
right? So there are a few quarterbacks in the league that will give you hell if you leave it open to them.
Yep, you're right.
And Aidan's a rookie. And what he needs to learn, and he was going up against, let's not forget, Lane Johnson here.
Best right tackle in football.
When you go up against that kind of tackle, a Hall of Fame tackle, when you go up against, I would say, a pretty good offensive line in Philly, a team that was able to run the ball at will against you. Granted, the quarterback, there are solvable things. I wasn't concerned that, for example, there were a few times Jalen Hurts did get by Aidan Hutchinson where he looked, quote, slow.
Right.
Man, I know Campbell, head coach Dan Campbell, mentioned it in the presser where, you can't recreate that in practice, that speed at quarterback, right?
No, you can't.
Aidan Hutchinson will learn very quickly he's got to make those plays. And there's nobody that will tell you that he's more disappointed in that performance than he would. So I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation about Aidan Hutchinson being a bust or that I'm concerned or, oh my goodness, the Lions have made the wrong decision because Jacksonville's Trayvon Walker, who was the #1 overall pick, who we had a conversation about being taken #2 overall, we're going to sit here and say, after one game, it's over. What are we doing? I'm not entertaining this. Aidan Hutchinson will be fine. Trayvon Walker, wish him nothing but the best in Jacksonville, but I think Aidan is exactly, and I'm going to double down on it, exactly what Detroit needed. I think he's a perfect fit for this team. And on top of it, I think he will pay dividends over the next few games. It will come through. I'm not too worried about one game, one tackle, no sacks, not the best performance. You lost the game. And it's not to make an excuse. Coaching was pathetic. Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, I'm still waiting for you guys to do something. It's not like his teammates were helping him. There was no spy on Jalen Hurts. That's nice. Thanks, coach. And you have the speed because we know they're deep at secondary. Will Harris, Jeff Okudah, Mani Oruwariye. Right. You have Chris Board. You have your safety straights. You can pull somebody up in the box. You can play what, a 5? You could play 4 on the line, 2 linebackers, and then you can play 5 secondary players, and one of them can be assigned to match the speed of Hurts. Again, hindsight, but the point is, it was a team collapse. There was no coaching. There were no halftime adjustments. And he is a rookie, and it was his first game. If we're 7 weeks into the season and he doesn't have a sack, and he's got 13 tackles and no tackles for loss, we can have a conversation about this guy really sucking. All right? Till then, come on.
And I had him at 9.5 sacks. So in that case, that would mean that really every 2 games he'd have a sack. So for me, I'm not too concerned after one performance. I understand, especially against Philly. We all acknowledged this before the matchup that he's facing the best offensive line to me in football, especially the best right tackle in football in Lane Johnson. But I did want to read this, and this is credit to Kyle Meineke.
Kyle Meineke, M Live, I believe.
Yeah,
Is it M Live? No, Ann Arbor News.
It is. Kyle Meineke does a really good job, and he had a article that came out, and his first thing was Aidan had 3 pressures on his first 4 series against the Eagles. And after that, nothing happened. But at least he got to the quarterback. Like you said, he just couldn't finish the play. And especially against that offensive line, you got to give credit where it's due. Like you said, though, the entire defensive line didn't necessarily help him either. It's not like he has a premier edge rusher on the other side for him. A lot of the time, you can double-team Aidan Hutchinson. You have Charles Harris, of course. But if you're watching that performance, I think you saw some good things. Obviously, the Lions' defense as a whole didn't play too well. But just single out Aidan in one game and overreact about one game is something I'm just not going to do. I mean, he is going to be just fine. How many other quarterbacks, and you made a great point too, Week 1, it was the worst matchup for him because in Week 1 you have the best offensive line. You're facing one of the most elusive quarterbacks, a quarterback who relies a lot on his legs. Like, it was a bad matchup for him, and I think that's something he's going to be able to build on and learn from. So I'm not too worried. If he's facing guys like Carson Wentz, guys who stand in the pocket, and he still can't get a sack, I think we can be concerned. But until then, I'm fine. I mean, and I know you look around the league, and I know Luke brought this up, which was a great point. Luke G. Dominique Robinson, the 5th-round pick for the Bears. The D-end, he had like a sack and a half his first game, but guys, like they were playing also
it's the first
in
week.
a monsoon.
I'm not
as well
worried about Aidan Hutchinson
against a quarterback in Trey Lance, who's didn't necessarily play that well in a monsoon. So I'm not going to overreact. I think he'll be just fine. The game I'm going to be watching will be this week because I want to see how he adjusts from a guy who's so mobile to a guy in Carson Wentz who's less mobile and is going to sit in that pocket and is going to allow Aidan to get after him. He'll be a standing target. So we'll see. We'll see if he bounces back.
I'm confident in the kid. I'm not worried. Not worried about him busting. Not worried about this guy. It's all irrelevant. And you know what? We can even go back to last year. This is the equivalent to drafting Aidan Hutchinson and putting him at linebacker or outside linebacker. Penei Sewell last year struggled at right tackle in preseason. He was pathetic. We had this conversation how many times? Move him to left tackle, move him to left tackle, move him to left tackle. He struggled all preseason. And what happened? Days leading up to the first game against the Niners, Taylor Decker goes down. Decker goes down. It's a blessing in disguise. It's not ideal, but it was a blessing because Penei Sewell gets to go play his natural position. And what do you know? He stood up toe-to-toe against, who was it? Nick Bosa. Not bad. Not bad if you ask me. So all the struggles, and then it clicked. Boom. And then he played 4, 5, 6, 7 games at his natural position. Decker came back. All right, now he's caught up to the speed of the NFL. We're going to move him to right tackle, and he only got better from there. Totally fair. Not worried about Hutchinson after one game. He'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. Philly were able to run the ball at will. If you go to the second half of the game, yeah, you can point out that Jalen Hurts didn't kill you with his legs. He didn't need to.
Right.
They were running the ball all over you. A.J. Brown was a menace.
And the difference...
He didn't have to. And you know what's funny? People forget. You were awful on third down. And you broke contain a ton on third down. That's what killed you. You had the Eagles in many third and median, third and long situations. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 14s. You had them in those situations. And you either A, broke containment, or B, your secondary just didn't do their job, and the D-line didn't get enough pressure on the quarterback. That's what kills me is people actually think you did not get pressure against the Eagles. Did Jalen Hurts ever look under duress when throwing the football? Go watch every third down play of the game from the Eagles. Show me a handful, if you're lucky, of plays where he looked under duress. He wasn't able to get the throw off.
Yeah.
He had to move and throw off balance. None of it. He had a clean pocket for the most part. He was able to step up. They were over pursuing, and he either ran it or he threw it downfield, and it killed you. Not killing Aidan Hutchinson for one game, man.
And I think the difference, too, between Penei and Aidan is Penei walked into a unit that was already the best on the Detroit Lions. And Aidan's walking into a unit which isn't one of the best units on the Detroit Lions. Like, you can get to the offensive line, you can get to the running backs, you can get to the receivers. Like, the defensive line still needs a lot of work. And until then is when you can start, Aidan to break free and get more one-on-ones. Because right now, like, they're going to be double teaming him. And again, like, if Charles Harris is going to have another breakout season, that's going to help him. But until then, I'm not worried. But Luke brings up a great question, and I want to ask you.
Go for it.
The real question is, what happens if Aidan Hutchinson has a similar game versus Washington? Are you when you said you're not going to panic till you're 8-9 weeks into the season? He doesn't have a sack. But what if he struggles against Washington? And this is just hypothetical.
Ideal.
Not saying
it's not ideal.
No.
I'm again not panicking, but it's not ideal. You have to go out and have a better game. He didn't have a good game.
Right.
Again, is he a problem? Is he going to be difficult to go up against if you're an offensive lineman? Yeah. And I don't expect him to struggle against Washington. I don't. I think he'll bounce back. I'm not too worried. I'm really not. I do want to answer one more question. Hutch did not struggle in the game. Excuse me. Again, guys, what you see on TV, it's very deceiving. Let me try to explain this to you. Aidan Hutchinson, forget the box score. Broke containment how many times in the first half? Was undisciplined in his pass rush. Yes, he was, quote, getting to the quarterback, but for Jalen Hurts, you were playing right into his hands. It's exactly what he wanted. What he wanted was the middle of the field to open up for him to choose between moving up and running or just throwing the football. It was a clean pocket for him to work in, guys. I know you're trying to pull some positives for Aidan. Don't even stress it. He had a bad game. He just did. There were some good things on film that you probably really like, and that's fair. And a lot of it's either not being disciplined enough or somebody missing an assignment. But at the end of the day, one game.
Yeah, it's silly to overact. I mean,
he'll be fine against Washington.
Right.
Again, I'm not really worried at all.
I think if he had a good game against that Philly O-line, I'd be shocked. If he had a monster game against that Philly O-line, I think we'd all be sitting up here crowning him.
Let's be honest. I think he was ranked 125th out of 126 pass rushers in terms of pass rushing ability, according to PFF. But he was like, I forget he was like top half of the league, basically, in run defense or run support. Mm-hmm. So he gave you something on the run side, but it didn't matter because the Eagles ate you up, whether they ran towards him or not. Don't tell me he got pressure to the quarterback when he had a rating of 125th. He was ranked 125th out of 126 eligible players. Stop it. What are you seeing, please? Because you guys clearly know more. Get that clown shit comments out of the chat, please. Save me that Aidan Hutchinson really had a good game, got pressure on Jalen Hurts. Go watch every single throw Jalen Hurts made. Show me the throws that he was under duress. There aren't many.
Yeah, like I said,
the intentional grounding they didn't call, that was pressure. That was great. Tracy Walker, I believe, had the only sack. But stop it. Stop acting like every play you were getting after Jalen Hurts, and he was lucky and fortunate because he has legs to escape the pocket and run for a first down. That's not what happened, guys. You broke containment. You had no discipline. He moved up in the pocket. He either killed you with his arm or he moved and he ran for a first down. It's that simple.
Yeah, I think it's more of a mental thing. I mean, him just being a rookie, learning how, especially adjusting to a guy like Jalen Hurts. A lot of quarterbacks aren't as elusive as Jalen Hurts, but a lot of quarterbacks will run the football. So that's something he's going to have to learn. I'm not worried about him adjusting. It's his first game in the NFL. Give him a couple games to adjust. I get Trayvon Walker had a great game against Washington, but also he's walking into a really good defense. I think Jacksonville is a really good defense. So, again, I'm not going to overreact. I think Aidan's on, it's not like the rest of the defensive line is really giving him any help. So, with Aidan, he has to get better, but I'm not concerned. I'm really not.
We're on the same page.
Get some quarterback pressures against Washington.
I'm
if he
not
gets a
worried
sack.
about it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Not, it's
really not that big.
Season, dude.
I'm not.
It's one game. Trayvon Walker doesn't do anything next week. What, Jacksonville fans are supposed to freak out? Yeah. Come on. You know what you have in the kid. We're not worried.
Yeah. The worst thing for Aidan is that Trayvon had that monster game because now everyone's going to be doing these stupid
he's not going to get
comparisons.
bashed from me.
Not from us. But
Jim Harbaugh says Michigan have a, quote, big edge. when it comes to their quarterback situation with Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. Okay. Interesting
One
comments.
of them's about to fall off an edge.
We'll discuss what he said on the Rich Eisen show next. But before we do, I got to tell you about our good friends over at Planet Fitness. Sign up today for $0 down, $10 a month. Get to a local Planet Fitness near you. You can sign up at planetfitness.com, or like I said, visiting one of their many Metro Detroit locations. Your fitness is essential. Make sure you go to the gym and gain weight, because, Fish, you're going to have to gain weight too, buddy. You got to bulk up a little bit. So we're going to get your ass into Planet Fitness. You're going to walk in here looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger one of these days. I'm telling you right now. That's the goal. 6-month plan, all right? You ready, buddy?
No.
All right, great. We're going to do it at Planet Fitness. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Jeff Iafrate here, and let me tell you about our friends at Alta, because guys, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. 8:33, Jim Harbaugh joined the Rich Eisen show yesterday to discuss Michigan having, quote, a big edge at quarterback, and he's very confident with the situation they have with J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara, and that J.J. is the starter moving forward. It's one game at a time, one play at a time. But officially, he is the starter. He named it right after the Hawaii game anyways. So, where are we at with Jim, J.J., and really this entire situation? I understand he's not going to sit up there and say, J.J. is a better quarterback, we're happy to have him, and, Cade is just going to have to just sit on the bench. No, you're not going to do that. Cade's still a captain, a team captain, I should say. Cade still brings leadership qualities that do help your football team. And you know what? As much as I laughed when I first saw the quote, I actually agree with it.
Yeah.
It is an advantage because you know what? God forbid, McCarthy does go down for any reason late in the season. You need to beat Penn State so you can go into the Ohio State game undefeated. Let's say some scenario like that. You need Cade to start one game. I would trust Michigan to win.
He's probably the best backup in the Big Ten.
He's probably one of the best backups in the country.
Yeah, in the country.
And again, for all the criticism I can give of Cade McNamara, he has shown he won't lose you games. He won't win you games, but he definitely won't go out of his way to lose them. Now, the Georgia game, pathetic. The Iowa game, he didn't have to do anything. Ohio State, he was going to lose you that game in the beginning after that red zone interception. They took the ball out of his hands. The rest is history. So, he has moments, but against some of these Big Ten teams outside of an Ohio State, outside of a Michigan State, I would trust Cade McNamara 100%.
Right.
I have no issue with that. I think he's a very competent backup, and that's what he should be for this team. And J.J. McCarthy only brings them to a whole new level.
I'm right with you. I actually like that Jim said this, and I get, especially in that Michigan game against Hawaii when Cade got in, I think it was embarrassing that people were actually booing Cade. I get it. You want to see JJ, and like Anthony Broom came on and said yesterday, a lot of the crowd was a little intoxicated probably, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Cade McNamara did something last year that Michigan fans will never forget. I mean, you beat Ohio State for the first time in how many? 15 years since 2011. You win a Big Ten title in however long. Like, he did a lot of good things for Michigan. So the fact that people want to disrespect him, that's the thing I can't get behind. What I can get behind is J.J. McCarthy and what he brings to the table, because I think he takes Michigan entirely up another level, especially offensively. But having a quarterback like Cade to back up J.J. is a luxury that other teams in the country, like you said, do not have. And if JJ goes down, you have a guy in Cade who I even think if you play Michigan State and Cade's starting, I still think they can beat Michigan State. Now, Ohio State's a different story because offensively you got to be able to score, and JJ's probably the best guy to do that efficiently. But with Cade, though, I think the disrespect he gets, and I get it, you said he can't win you games. I knew what you meant. I think he can win you games, but can you win because of Cade?
That's where I'm going.
And I agree.
You win? Do you beat? Let's see. Do you beat Ohio State because of Cade McNamara?
No, I don't.
Did you beat Iowa because of Cade McNamara?
No.
Did you beat Michigan State even though you didn't because of Cade? If anything, he let you down in the fourth quarter. The Eric All pass against Penn State. Label it what you want, but it was the defense that kept Penn State from scoring most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That defense was a big part of their success last season, along with the run game, which it seems like they're going to pick up where they left off last season. I'll quote Jim Harbaugh on what he said yesterday. Quote, "We're back on the practice field yesterday, and there is no difference in Cade's demeanor," which I think is very important. Mm-hmm. And then J.J. McCarthy later on says, "It's been awesome." Quote, "What better way to have a guy that's intelligent, motivated, driven, and just be able to observe him every single day and replicate some of the parts of his game that I can improve in mine." And again, J.J. McCarthy is it on the field, and he sounds like it off the field. Class act, respectful kid, says all the right things, hasn't made one slip up. This happens around college football all the time, especially with quarterback competitions. It's usually the younger one that slips up and says something in the media he shouldn't, or does something off the field that he shouldn't. No issues with J.J. McCarthy. Stand-up act, just like Cade McNamara is. They're the exact same person in terms of, in my opinion, leadership qualities.
Character.
One is just more developed, meaning Cade, because of all the starts he has. J.J. McCarthy has one start. After start 4, after start 7, he'll start getting better and better. It kills me to say it. It does. Because I'm supporting Michigan State this year. But damn it. Jeff, Michigan's program really can change for the better with this kid as their starting quarterback. We've talked about it now for over a year. My opinion hasn't changed. I think he's the best thing to happen to this program probably since...
Say it. I mean, is he the most talented quarterback at Michigan?
Well, I would even just say that. I would say let me put it this way. J.J. McCarthy has as much potential to not only impact the program, but put them on a national, viewing scale.
Right. Like
Charles Woodson did when he won the Heisman.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, look at the odds to win the Heisman.
Plus 30,000. I believe that's fifth best in all of college football right now.
And think about that for a second. One game against Hawaii. Cade's been starting. He started all last year, won a Big Ten title. You beat Ohio State. And this year, he beats Hawaii, and he's in the Heisman odds, plus 3,000. And you talk
it's
about
not just because he beat them, it's how.
It's how he beat them. But that speaks to your point about national recognition. Like, they see what he did. They see what JJ's doing. They see the talent he possesses. So just to talk about JJ for a second, like, Ryan said this yesterday, and he got a lot of flack on Twitter, which is something ridiculous, and I didn't think he deserved. Ryan came out and said, "I think he is the best quarterback to ever play at Michigan." And I knew what he meant in terms of talent, because people come out and say, well, Tom Brady, Chad Henne, Braylon played with Chad Henne. Like, these guys, and I get what they were saying. I actually agree with them. I think JJ has a chance, because right now you see what he possesses, the talent he possesses.
But when we say, Chad Henne, it has to be in the context of what he was at Michigan.
Right.
Not what he was in the NFL.
No.
Right? You got to look at a quarterback in college for what he was in college.
Right. It's like Tom Brady. You got to look at him in Michigan.
And do I think J.J. McCarthy's going to win the Heisman this year? No, I don't. I mean, that is long shot odds right now. I wouldn't put money on it. But what I would say is I think he has the potential more than any other quarterback in the history of Michigan football to not only compete for a Heisman Trophy, but to put you at a level in terms of national recognition, must-watch football, like Charles Woodson did. We talk about a team that made the college football playoff last year. Jim Harbaugh just always finds a way to win. You can knock him for the COVID year, but he's always found a way to win. He goes to Stanford, takes an academic school and they win 11 games, 12 games actually in 2010. Goes to the NFL, 3 NFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance. Comes back to Michigan, 10 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins, 9 wins. COVID year, 2 wins. Last year, Big Ten champions, 12 wins. College football playoff appearance. All he does is win. Harbaugh's not a bad coach. Is he kind of weird, quirky, however you want to define him? Sure. But having a quarterback like J.J. McCarthy, I think is program changing. I just do.
Mm-hmm.
He is able to make plays on Saturdays that I could name you only 3 college football quarterbacks, in my opinion, can make right now outside of one backup.
And I want to say this too. I get it was against Hawaii, and people want that's what you'd say back to that. Like, hey, it was against Hawaii. Hawaii's terrible. Well, Cade had a chance to play against Hawaii, and he didn't play well. So, like, again, like you could tell how much you even said it. Hawaii's defense, when Cade was in the game, they looked completely different than when JJ was in the game.
Yeah,
they had the interception.
Hawaii's defense, They were the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs when Cade was on the field.
So to say, I get where you guys are coming from because I agree with you. I think JJ needs to do more. He needs to beat more than just Hawaii, UConn, and Maryland. He has to go out and beat Michigan State, beat Penn State, beat Iowa, go and beat OSU. I get all of that. But to say you're not going to really take much from that Hawaii game, I just don't agree with because you see what Cade looked like when he was in the game with the same team. So I get it. You know, I can't sit here and overreact about it, but you can at least acknowledge that J.J. McCarthy possesses talent that at least I have never seen coming out of Michigan. And for such a young guy, sophomore, he still has another year under his belt. Like he has a chance to be the next first-round pick offensively, skill position for Michigan. Because who was the last quarterback? Jim Harbaugh to be taken in the first round?
Yes,
Do you think JJ has a chance?
I don't want to talk about the NFL, though. I don't. Hear me out, though. It is fair to ask it. Mm-hmm. It's not wrong what you're saying, but I just, no. College football, what are you doing? Are you changing the program like a Troy Smith did? Like a, what was his name? Terrell Pryor. Are you going to be an impact player at Ohio State? Like Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins. I only care about college. If you translate to the NFL as a quarterback, that's great. I don't care. We're talking about college football. What are you doing for me in college? Mm-hmm. And I'll take the guys that are going to get me to a college football playoff and compete for that. It's amazing. It is program changing. Where Jared Goff ranks in the NFC coming up in just a few minutes. I wonder where you have him on your list, especially after week 1. I know you're going to have Hurts high. I know you're high on Hurts and the Eagles, so I can't wait to see your list. But we'll get into where Goff ranks among NFC quarterbacks in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Chili Peppers.
Yes, guys. Let me tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning. Because, listen, winter's here. You can't get outside and tan like you used to early in the summer. But what you can do is join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they will be all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan?
You're an ugly guy, and that's okay because you've outkicked your coverage with your significant other. Well, that's good news for you. their hotness and your notness to get you front row tickets. The Woodward Sports Network is giving you a chance to sit front row for the Detroit versus Washington football game. That's right. We're looking for the ugliest guy and the hottest girl. So fellas, come on. If you know you've outkicked your coverage, here's your chance. Post a pic of you and your superior-looking partner on Twitter or Instagram with hashtag Woodward Front Row. Follow us and tag at Woodward Sports. Hurry, because we'll be selecting a winner September 16th. We can't wait to see you. Well, her. From the network that always outkicks the competition. Woodward Sports.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
For Detroit, by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
When you're on the golf course, or hell, you're at the backyard having a nice old barbecue, there's nothing better than a mulligan to get you through the day. 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade, refreshing drink along with Gypsy vodka mix. The mulligan is the official drink of the summer. It's one of the better tasting drinks I've had. And all I ask is that all of you not only try it, but please drink responsibly. And we are back, 8:47 on a beautiful Wednesday morning. Having a good start to the day so far. Jeff, how about you?
I'm having a good one.
All right, I'm going to let you go over your list. I'm going to hear you out. And I'll either agree or disagree. Well, how about we do it that way, or you want to share list by list?
You go first, and we'll maybe go one by one. If you want to go,
right, so
your number one, number two.
All right, let's start at 1.
Okay.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, we agree there.
And that was hard because I didn't think he played all that well against
No.
Dallas.
It's hard. Week 1, you're pretty much doing an overreaction a little bit. I almost did Aaron Rodgers, but I just think Tom Brady.
Fair enough. Number 2.
He's that good. Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers.
We are going to agree.
And I think we'll agree on 3 because we already got the top 2 out of the way.
We're not going to agree on 3.
Do not put Kirk Cousins number 3. I swear to God, if you have Kirk Cousins at 3, end the show right now. Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford's number.
Thank you. So you're Minnesota Vikings, I swear to God.
No, Matthew Stafford's number 3.
Okay.
But number 4 is where things get interesting.
Oh.
I've got Kirk Cousins as the 4th best quarterback in the NFC. And I know you're probably going to put Jalen Hurts there. Or
no,
Kyler.
I have Kyler Murray.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting Kyler Murray there. You're gonna love my list. Let me finish my list then, because it's just going to piss you off.
Okay, go.
Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
All right. Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts, number 5.
Okay.
Kyler Murray, 6. Dak Prescott, number 7. Jared Goff, number 8. Carson Wentz, number 9. Jameis Winston, number 10. Thoughts?
I don't mind it. We disagree on a couple things, especially. I mean, I have Kirk at. Well, I'll go through mine. I have my 7, and then I want to tell you where I have Jared Goff ranked when it's all said and done. Because right now, you're looking at the NFC and you're looking at the top tier quarterbacks. You get pretty deep. Okay, we'll start with it. So I have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, I have Matthew Stafford. Number 4, I have Kyler Murray. Number 5, I have Kirk Cousins. I have Kirk right below Kyler, and then I have 6, Dak. 7, Jalen Hurts. And then 8 is where I struggled because I'm probably going to go with Jameis Winston. But I think Jared would be right around that area. If you want to put him right behind Jameis at 8, Jared at 9, or if you want to do Jared at 8, I don't care. I mean, either one. I think he's a 8, 9. He's in that range, bottom part of the top 10 in the NFC. Because once you get down further, you have Justin Fields, which, say what you want. I think Jared's better. Trey Lance, I think Jared's better right now.
Would you call me crazy?
Daniel Jones, he's better than Daniel Jones. Go on. What's up?
Would you call me crazy if I tell you that the way I see Jared Goff, the way I look at some of these guys, I also look at Dak Prescott that way? I'm not a fan.
You said the way you see Jared Goff is the way you see Dak Prescott?
I'm not a fan. I don't think Dak Prescott elevates your franchise.
I think and I get what you're saying because Dallas...
He's hurt right now, so that doesn't help either.
I get what you're saying because Dallas, for Dak to have success, for them to make the playoffs, he needs everything around
Everything
him.
around
run
him
game,
needs to be right.
Receivers, O-line. Which, again...
What do we call that, though?
It's a bridge quarterback.
And we label them as game managers.
Game managers.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff.
Right.
Now, apparently Kirk Cousins is a game manager. You guys are in for a rude awakening with him in the NFC with Minnesota Vikings now.
And I want to say this, too. In saying that you have a good O-line, a good run game, good receivers, that if you need that to succeed, you're all of a sudden this bum. No, that's good quarterbacks need that stuff to succeed. But to your point, you can't... It's the whole argument of can you win with or can you win because of. And with Dak, I think right now it's a quarterback you can win with.
So
I don't know if you can win because of
how many quarterbacks in the
Dak
NFC
Prescott.
can you win because of?
I would probably say...
Brady, out of respect, sure.
I would probably say
give you that.
3. The top 3. I think
just Rodgers, Brady, and Stafford.
I think those are the only 3 you can win because of. Those guys, you can take things away from their team, and they can still win you games. Now, if you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers and postseason, I think that's another conversation. But just winning games, I'm going with those 3. I don't know. Kyler Murray hasn't proven that. Kirk hasn't proven that. Dak.
I would take right now.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm not allowed to pick any of the top 3 quarterbacks: Stafford, Brady, or Rodgers.
Okay, so exclude them.
They're off my list.
Okay.
I need a quarterback for one season. I have a good team. Who are you taking on that list? I'm taking Kirk Cousins right now. Right now, I'm taking Kirk Cousins with Kevin O'Connell as my coach. I'm taking Kirk Cousins, man.
No, yeah, you're not.
I don't trust Dak.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray falls off at the end of the season every single time.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, unproven. This is a big year for him, so we'll probably reevaluate or revisit this discussion later on in the year. Carson Wentz, we know what he is. Jameis Winston, not interested. Jared Goff, again, we know what he is. So I'm taking Kirk Cousins, man. I'm feeling good about him being the 4th best quarterback in the NFC right now. I think a lot of it is because of what is around him, though. I do want to say that.
Absolutely. And
Justin Jefferson, probably the best receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. For me, it would be between Kirk or Dak, and I'd probably lean... Dak last year, though, 37 and 10. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Say what you want. Had a monster season. But again, Kirk... I'll go Dak, just to disagree with you.
Oh.
Just because, listen, and I'll explain. I'll explain why. Because I'm not going with, and the reason why I say this is I think Dak is a more talented quarterback than Kirk, but I think Dak in Dallas. I think so.
Is he, though?
I think so. In terms of numbers, he puts up better numbers, and I get he's had a better team, but at times, even last year with Amari Cooper, who disappeared in a lot of those games, it was really just CeeDee Lamb at times. So we could compare numbers. It's pretty close. If you want to go Dak, you want to go Kirk, I don't really
we're going to
care.
compare their careers.
If you want to compare contracts, I think the nod goes to Kirk because Dak's making a ton of money.
There is that factor, too.
But give me the stats.
So here, you ready? Over their careers, Kirk Cousins is 60 and 59. Dak Prescott 53 and 33. Fair?
Fair.
Kirk has a 67% completion percentage. Dak Prescott 66%. Not too far off. Kirk Cousins has a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Dak Prescott has a 1.7 touchdown to interception ratio. That's pretty significant, if you ask me. Overall, look, neither, in my opinion, and I don't think Dak is a $40 million quarterback.
No.
But, and that is one of my biggest problems with him, is the contract he did get really cripples your team. Because I don't mind backing up a Brinks truck for Patrick Mahomes, backing it up for Herbert, backing it up for a Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, backing it up for Tom. You don't mind paying these guys. But you don't want to have to back up a Brinks truck like a Jared Goff got. Or you don't want to have to pay a Dak Prescott when they are not the ones elevating what's around them. It's what around them is elevating them.
And Kirk and Dak are two
and they're
good examples
really
of
the
that.
same.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Kirk elevates his teammates. He does not.
Right.
But right now, I am trusting his play over a majority of those quarterbacks, including Kyler and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, and surprisingly, too, Kirk hasn't really been the most interception-prone quarterback. Like the last 2 seasons, he's had
33-7 last year.
So I get it. I'm not going to hate you for it. I think really what this tells us, and Funky makes a great point, the NFC is just mid-quarterbacks.
It's wide open, man.
Like a lot of quarterbacks, you can win because or win with, not be win because of. Like you see that with this list. Like we just went through this list. Out of 9 quarterbacks I went through so far, 3 you can win because of. So, speaks to the NFC. Imagine if you did an AFC ranking. You'd probably go about 10, 15 deep. But at this one's a little different.
AFC ranking off the top of my head, no specific order. You have Mahomes.
Yeah.
You have Herbert. You have Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. You've got Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. That's 7. You've got Deshaun Watson, if you want to count him, that's 8.
Jesus Christ.
Man, AFC South, I don't really love any of the quarterbacks there, not even Matt Ryan.
No.
Trevor Lawrence is young and up and coming, though. You go to the AFC, let's see, the AFC East, Josh Allen. Tua, maybe, up and coming.
Even
we'll
Tua,
see.
like on this list, like Tua
Tua's
might be
probably
in the
somewhere at 6, 7, or 8.
Think about that. Like, so it speaks to how deep the AFC is with their quarterbacks.
100%. And look, and the reality for some of these teams are that you can get so far with these quarterbacks, and the anomaly does happen when you can get to a Super Bowl with these quarterbacks.
Yeah, Jimmy G,
but long-term sustained success only comes from having a franchise quarterback or a Hall of Fame head coach. And if you have both, you know how it works out. Andy Reid, Mahomes, Belichick, Brady. We know how this plays out.
Right.
Fair?
Fair.
All right. Top of the hour coming up in just a bit. When we get back, Jeff Okudah. I would say a solid first game of the season. Played well. Played very well on a snap count. Devontae Smith matched up against him. 4 targets, 0 receptions. Hell of a job by Jeff Okudah's first game. So we'll go over expectations for the year. Can he win back? Not only Lions fans, because I know most of them are rooting for him, but can he win back media? Can he win back and earn the reputation of being this team's shut-down corner, which is what he was drafted to be? We'll get to that and more in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Let me tell you about our friends at SMA, guys, because it's something that is very endearing, especially this network. With Braylon Edwards getting involved, the Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. They have this new podcast. It's called This is the F Word, F standing for fentanyl. It helps us spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. You can find out more information. You can visit thesportsma.com if you are struggling or know somebody who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse. The Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. Visit fullingwarehouse.com.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Top of the hour, brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff Okudah comes out and has, I would say, a good game. It was just good.
Yeah.
And going into the year, the conversation we had is, hey, man, stay healthy and just stack good performances. That's all you can ask for out of this kid. Can he be a shutdown corner? Way too early for me. Way too early.
And I agree with that. I think saying he's going to be a shutdown corner is a little exaggerated. I mean, the guy was drafted 3rd overall. I get from where he was drafted, you expect him to be a shutdown corner. But the reality is, I always compare it to like Killian Hayes for the Pistons. Like, you have to get over this narrative of where he was drafted. And I get Neil brings up the financial side and what he's getting paid. And that's definitely important because you're paying him, you know, like to be a shutdown corner. 3rd overall pick, was he making like $9 million, $10 million? But for Jeff Okudah, watching him against the Philadelphia Eagles, watching him against Devontae Smith didn't have a catch. I get some plays, especially in the run game. His run defense, he struggled a little bit, but again, like, that's the things you're expecting out of Jeff. You're expecting him to build on these performances. To be honest with you, I didn't expect him to have as good of a game as he did coming out. I mean, to have his Achilles injury he suffered and to now be out most of last season, having this whole offseason, and then right away facing the Eagles, who have a very good wide receiver core, including Dallas Goedert at tight end, I thought he'd struggle, but he kind of did the opposite. I get he wasn't perfect, but he was damn good. I mean, he played 67, I believe, snaps on defense. And for a guy who he sat out 9 plays and he sat out the play with cramps that Will Harris had that ball caught over him by A.J. Brown. But I think the big thing for Jeff Okudah this year is just to stay healthy. I mean, the hardest thing for especially a guy like Jeff Okudah is you need reps. And that was one thing he just hasn't been able to do. I get he struggled when he's played, but the fact that he hasn't even been able to build on performances. This year, I really believe he'll play 15 at least games. I think he'll be available for a majority of the season. I really do have faith in that. And if he is, he's going to have a significant role in the secondary. He's going to be playing in the opposite side of Amani Oruwariye, and he's going to have a lot of challenges throughout the season of guys he's going to be facing. So he's going to have plenty of opportunity. It's just about building on these performances. I'm not looking at the stats, although you'd like to see him turn the ball over. I'm really looking at Jeff staying healthy, and can he not – because we always say this, if you're not hearing about your corners, it's a good thing. If I'm not hearing about Jeff Okudah, I'm okay with it. Because the all we had to hear about when he played last year or the year prior is blown plays or him losing assignments or guys making plays on Jeff Okudah. Like, that stuff you want to get past. You don't want Jeff to be a liability. Because you saw even against Philly, like, Jalen Hurts would look in Jeff's direction and look the other direction. Like, he would make Jalen turn away from him. And that's something you haven't never seen out of Jeff Okudah. So that's something you could take out of it. I thought there was a lot of things that, were positive. If you go back and watch the film, there were a couple things that he messed up on. But again, he's not going to have a perfect game. His first game back from an Achilles injury. So a lot of good things to take away at him, but the biggest thing this year for me is, can he stay healthy? That's really the only thing I have, because if he's healthy, he can be coached. He can play a full season under Aaron Glenn. He can have that mentorship. It's harder to coach a guy when he's sitting on the sidelines in a cast or he's not on the field. So that's it for me. If he can just build on these performances, he's going to be just fine.
I thought it was a good performance, like you said. He helped the team tremendously with his tackling. A few of his tackles, I believe he had one on A.J. Brown at the line of scrimmage. Devontae Smith, 4 targets, I believe, 0 receptions. Also, on top of that, against Jeff Okudah, Jalen Hurts, if you really go back, watch back the game. When he's looking at Devontae Smith, these are the plays we never talk about, right? Because you'll talk about Jeff Okudah when the ball is thrown his way and it's a pass deflection or it's an incomplete pass and you see him tight on coverage. Jalen Hurts essentially just stopped throwing the ball his way. Now, granted, A.J. Brown was absolutely eating them up. Dallas Goedert the same way. And then, of course, the run game was working. That is not ideal. But, I would say he blew 1 tackle. And that was about it. That's all I really got from the game with Jeff. That's not a bad thing. I thought he had a good game. I think it's a hell of a way to start the season for a guy who really has probably had one of the worst scenarios you could ask for coming out of your career, to start as a top pick in an NFL draft. To come out, not be able to play much your first year, not play at all your second year after the first game. It's tough. You have 10 career games, now 11 on your plate. You're not even a full rookie season in yet. And it's tough because this is a game about business, performance, and availability. And the performance on Sunday was good. It was good. He costs a lot of money. Yes, he does. He was the 3rd overall pick in an NFL draft.
Right.
Are you going to pick up his 5th-year option, etc.? We'll get to that later. But right now, 1 good game and 1 star. There's 16 games left. I hope it continues. It'll be good for this football team.
An NFL draft junkie says even Jalen Ramsey gets burned. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Burnt? They get murdered.
It was burnt toast. I mean, that was...
He had a perfect passer rating against him on Thursday night.
So
158.3.
So I think people get wrapped up, and I'm glad you brought that up, by the way, NFL Draft Junkie, because people get wrapped up in a lot of things like, oh, well, Jeff's getting burnt, he's doing this. Like, people don't understand how hard it is to play in today's NFL, the cornerback position, because even you could be one of the best corners in the league, you could still get burnt. It's just about making tackles, like he did against the Eagles. So that's something you can look at and he can build on. But for Jeff, the only thing is, for him, to get the reps he needs, to get the experience he needs, it's just staying healthy. And if he could do just that, because I don't want to see Will Harris on the field. I'm sorry, Will Harris, but when you stepped on that field, A.J. Brown made a big play. So if we can keep Jeff on the field, it's gonna do good things for the secondary. Because last year, I think they missed him in a way too. I mean, you had guys like Jerry Jacobs, you had guys like A.J. Parker stepped in as undrafted free agents. Excuse me. Why can't Jeff have success?
And I think as long as you understand, he's not going to be a Darrelle Revis, Nnamdi Asomugha,
Right.
Patrick Surtain, Champ Bailey, Ty Law, Asante Samuel for a few years with the New England Patriots. He's not going to be. That does not exist anymore. And I hope Thursday night was a perfect iteration of it. It was actually. Jalen Ramsey gave up a perfect passer rating, 158.3. 11 of 12, I believe. 144 yards, 2 touchdowns he gave up on passes thrown his way. And he almost gave up another touchdown to Stephon Diggs in the red zone, but the ball was just too hot. Diggs didn't get his head up in time. It's impossible to be a shutdown corner. The Rams would have lost the Super Bowl if it wasn't for their defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got burnt on the biggest play of the game. And you know why? You know why I sit up here and I ridicule you guys and I call you a bunch of idiots? It's not because I don't like you. But when you tell me, Jeff Hamilton, number 2 overall, this is why you deserve to get punched in the face. I'm sorry. You're not taking a corner or a safety number 2 overall. They will never give you the value that you can get at that position. Whether it's a pass rusher or a quarterback. That is what you do. Or a generational tackle, which you already took at number 7 the year before. It's not hard, guys.
Right.
This is a passing league. The rules are only making it more difficult for these secondary players. Get over it. There is no shutdown corner. Bye-bye. The league has moved on from that. There's no 1,800-yard rushers anymore. Granted, you get a few every now and then, but you're not running the ball 350, 400 times now like a Priest Holmes, a Jamal Lewis, Clinton Portis, where it's so consistent every year. It's not. It's changed. The league has changed.
It has. And I'm glad you brought up the defensive line because that's important too. Like the more, and it was actually impressive to me that they didn't really pressure Jalen Hurts. And he still played pretty good. So imagine if this defensive line is able to get to the quarterback and get QB pressures, disrupt plays. It's going to make Jeff's job, Amani's job, Tracy's job a lot easier. So a lot of good things you could take away from that Week 1 game. And I'm excited to see him against teams like Washington. I'm just mentioning Washington because we play them next. But other teams that you're going to be able to get to the quarterback. Because I think Jeff's going to have a pretty good season. He just has to stay healthy. Again, I keep repeating that.
Look at Derek
that's the
Stingley's
biggest
first game. It was pretty good.
Right. You know.
But you took him number 3 overall. Is Houston ever going to reap the rewards of that pick? He'll be gone by the time they're even ready to compete. Honestly, no, this is like I really mean this.
Yeah.
They take him number 3 overall. You think I'm not laughing at them the way we laughed at Jeff Okudah being taken by this shitty organization a few years ago?
Because Sauce was making plays.
It doesn't matter if they make plays. TJ Watt wins you games. Here, there's a fun stat in the NFL, and it is the approximate value rating for for players' value to a team. And if I go over, and if I, I'm struggling to find the year by year, other seasons. Here we go. So in 2022, all right, Jeff, I don't know why this isn't loading. Give me 1 second. All right, it's not loading. Long story short, if I remember it correctly, the last time I read it, since the year 2000, how many secondary players have finished with the highest approximate value rating in the NFL? I think 3 or 4.
Right.
Could be 5. In a 22, 23-year window. A handful. The rest, they're quarterbacks and they're defensive linemen. That's it. Cut and dry. The league's changing. It's making it even more difficult, but I think Okudah's going to be fine. I think it was a good first game. So, Adam, would you say that getting Charger J.C. Jackson isn't worth it? No, I didn't say that. J.C. Jackson's a good corner. Would you draft J.C. Jackson with the 2nd overall pick? That's the question. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Will the Chargers take him or Joey Bosa? Or Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack 3 sacks in the first game for the Chargers.
I get where you're going with it. It's
not.
not.
All I'm trying to say here is, can we just throw away shutdown corner from Jeff Okudah?
Yeah, it's just.
He will have shutdown moments. I mean, he was basically shut down on Devontae Smith.
Yeah, he shut him down.
He shut him down literally. So you can do it, but please understand, in today's league, it is the most difficult position to play outside of quarterback.
No question.
So if Jeff Okudah just turns out to be a good Pro Bowl corner and has maybe a few All-Pro seasons, my goodness, that pick looks a lot better. You'll take it.
It's better than saying
but one game, he played well.
Yeah.
There's 16 more games. Hopefully he stays healthy and can continue. It's that simple.
No question.
Oh, God. Let's see. Easy, shut the hell up. What does Adam think of on Hutch's first game? We already talked about this. Hutch is fine. No overreactions. Yeah. It's one game. It's not the end of the world. See, Easy, you know what's funny, though? It's not a different story with safeties. Because for all the Ed Reeds, Sean Taylors, Troy Polamalu's you've had in the NFL, they've never led the league in approximate value. You know who has? Secondary players. Corners. They have. Stephon Gilmore did when he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
League's changing. Easy, don't sit here and try to justify Kyle Hamilton at number 2. I swear to God. I'm not in the mood to get angry this morning. Please. Adam, I can't believe I haven't seen anyone point out that Brisker played every snap and Pascal hasn't seen the field. Just saying, I can't believe that hasn't been a point I've heard yet. Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard, right? Because the second round, you have a history of not working out with this franchise right now, all right? It is a reoccurring thing. And Pascal, no, has not seen the field. I can break it to you both ways, Funky. I can tell you, well, when he comes back, if he plays good, you're not going to care. And vice versa. If he comes back and he doesn't do well, you're going to miss. You're going to miss. All I do know is your GM has drafted a 4th-round starting wide receiver. And now Malcolm Rodriguez, what round was he? 5th or 6th?
He was 6th.
You sure? I can't recall. I think it was 6th round. You're right. 6th round pick Malcolm Rodriguez. He's a starting linebacker on your team. Your GM knows what he's doing. I'm not going to associate it to Brad, but damn, you're right. You look at that. You look at the Brisker pick. Damn, he's playing all the snaps. Joseph hasn't played much.
But we knew Joseph was more raw, though, coming out,
Give me the pass rusher. Yeah, I like the pick. I still like the Pascal pick. It's a sports hernia. Hopefully he doesn't turn out to be like Levi Onwuzurike. Hopefully he can see the field. Again, injuries are always going to be a problem.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20. It's always undefeated hindsight.
Yeah, I like this conversation. You probably shouldn't talk about Pascal until we see him play, but I do think it's fair to question. You have to question his availability, just like you did with Okudah, right? So Okudah comes out, first game. Good game. Cool. How about you stack those for the rest of the season?
Right.
How about we start there? And like I said, the league has never been set up more for quarterbacks and wide receivers to have success. It is so difficult to play corner in the NFL. I think it's the second most difficult position, only behind the quarterback position. You are literally left on an island where you can barely engage with these guys. You can't hold them. You can't grab them. You can't play. You can't fight with their hands. You'll get called for pass interference. It's just it's a passing league. There's no value there taking somebody at number 3 overall. Let's see. I wanted the Lions to trade down and take Carl Laftis. Yeah, I'm
not getting into those conversations about redrafting. I mean, it's the same thing in the NBA. Like, when the season starts, people want to talk about redrafts. It's like, it's all irrelevant. I mean, this is all irrelevant. We have to see these guys get on the field. So, it's too early to overreact. But what I will say is, it's been nice to see the rookies, but I'm still sticking with Brad Holmes. I trust him. Like, for his decision-making and what he's found in terms of value with Amon-Ra and everybody else, give him a pass. I mean, I'm not too worried. We'll see. It's too early to tell if Pascal or Ozurique is a bust just because they're not available. They have to play, but just give it some time. Give it some time.
All right. Look, we have, a minute or two before we get Sean Murphy into the studio. Easy says that tackles are a real stat. Interceptions are a real stat. Approximate value year by year is not a real stat. Okay, buddy. Easy, I love you, man. You're a good guy.
Aside from the APV, you can at least acknowledge.
So you're going to tell me that a corner is a different story than a safety. So a safety, it's okay to take number 2 overall, but a corner, it's not. Okay. So first of all, neither are acceptable unless they are Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey, and that's about it in my lifetime. Worthy of a number 2 overall pick. Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed. You're really playing the odds there, guys. You're not taking a safety at number 2 overall. And FYI, since the year 2000, it's been Ray Lewis, Marshall Faulk, Priest Holmes, Derek Brooks, Amon Green, Priest Holmes, Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Tiki Barber, LaDainian Tomlinson, Tom Brady, Ray Lewis, Cortland Finnegan, Darrelle Revis, Arian Foster, Aaron Rodgers, Richard Sherman, J.J. Watt, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Donald, Josh Allen. Just look at the last 5 years, and look where the league has gone now. It's just pass rushers and quarterbacks. That's who has value. That's who. Not because corners aren't valuable, not because safeties aren't valuable, but the game is literally set up against them. But we're going to take a quick break. Sean Murphy coming back in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, I got to tell everybody at home where I'm going to get my hair cut probably next week because my hair grows so goddamn fast. And that's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. They're awesome stylists who take care of you like they take care of me. Excuse me. A hot lather neck shave. Rinse your head. Great treatment. They really take care of your hair. If you have any issues, they're willing to help. They'll give you recommendations. Like I said, walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets. Play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price on every game from multiple sports books. Go to OddsTrader.com right now for your best bet.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, joined by our good friend from Half Court, Sean Murphy. Good morning, Sean.
Adam, Jeff, it's so good to see you guys. Good morning to you both. It's so good to be off a weekend of a disappointing loss, and now we can actually get towards something that matters, like basketball. It's going to be great, right?
Sean, if you ever want me to hang up on you, that's exactly how it happens. So how about we don't do that
I'm
this
just
morning?
kidding. You know I love you, Adam. You know I love the Lions too, man. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's good to see you, though, my friend.
Good to see you as always. Good to see you as always. All right, Sean, here's the deal. You got Ivy, Cunningham. You got Sadiq Bey. You've got Killian Hayes. You got a lot of guards on this team. You got a lot of players that can handle the ball. You got Marvin Bagley. You've got now Isaiah Stewart developing a three-point shot. Walk me through rotations. This is the question I keep asking that I still don't have an answer to, is how are you going to have lineups and rotations that will allow each of these individual players to not only succeed but develop? There's only one basketball on the court at a given time, Sean.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that's going to be the name of the game for the first third of the season is going to be experimentation. I think you're going to see a lot of different combinations, a lot of different players playing with each other. I think you're going to see a lot of Isaiah Stewart playing with Nerlens Noel or Jalen Duren. I think you're going to see how he fits alongside those guys. And a lot of it's going to come down to, you know, what's that starting lineup going to look like opening night? Because Dwayne Casey can go a lot of different avenues with it. I think, you know, right now, if I were to guess, you know, what you're going to see to start the season, I think you're going to see Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham in that backcourt. I think you're going to see Sadiq Bey at that small forward spot. And then I think at the 4, you're going to see Marvin Bagley to start the season and Isaiah Stewart starting at the 5. I think as the season goes on, I think you're going to see more and more of Jalen Duren coming into the rotation. To me, he's kind of the biggest unknown to me, because I know a lot of people have expected, or before Summer League were like, oh, well, he'll probably see some time in the G League. After watching him in the Summer League, there's no way he's touching a G League gym. That's just not happening. So just to see how that rotation is going to play out, I think one big piece is that now that we actually have guys that can shoot the ball in our rotation, like Isaiah Livers, like Alec Burks, I think those are going to be guys that are going to force some pressure on guys like Hamidou Diallo to go out and play some effective defense and shoot the ball, because otherwise, if he can't really do much, then there's going to be other guys that can do similar things to him. So I think a lot of this year is going to be the Pistons figuring out who's going to be on this team when we're starting to win games going forward, who's going to be the guys that's going to bring value to our locker room. And so I think a lot of that, to your point, Adam, is just going to be a lot of experimentation. I think you're going to see that 3-guard lineup quite a bit to start the season with Killian, Ivey, and Cunningham, because I think that's something that is very imperative of working if Killian Hayes wants a job in Detroit long term. So a lot of it's going to come down to experimentation to start the season, and once we see some things come into place, I think you'll see a little bit more consistent rotations as the season goes on.
Sean, you sexy son of a bitch. I'm happy you're here because
coming from you, Jeff. Come on now, man.
I got a lot to ask you. I want to start by, because we covered this, by the way. You guys can check this out from Half Court on YouTube. We talked about breakout players, and I want to ask you, because you're very high on Marvin Bagley, and listen, how can you not be? I mean, the guy's gonna have a bigger role this year. Explain to everybody else who may not have heard your take on why you're so high on Marvin Bagley and just some of the expectations you have for him this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. This is a guy that, first of all, was taken number 2 overall in a very stacked draft for a reason. The guy is 6'11", has an insanely huge wingspan, has a lot of talent around the rim. This is a guy that came into Detroit, and this past season, when he was given a role, when he was given an opportunity and was put in a system that actually believed in him, he was able to go out and get 16, 18 points in a game when the offense wasn't putting plays around him. And he was mostly getting those through second chance buckets, through towards the end of the shot clock, getting the ball, hey, you have to make something happen. So for him to be able to come in and do that and also play over the rim, I think is something that was huge for his game. And now going into a season where you're going to be able to play with 3 of the most talented playmakers you've ever played with in your career, a guy in Jaden Ivey who might be more athletic than De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox is a hell of an athlete, a guy in Cade Cunningham who's a generational talent when it comes to playmaking, and then Killian Hayes, we all know what he can do with passing the ball. I just think for Marvin Bagley, that's just going to be huge. But the most important thing is that he's in a system that understands what he can bring to the court, but also he's in a system that believes in him and actually has some stability. Most times, guys, if guys leave Sacramento, that's generally a good thing for their careers. So for Marvin Bagley to have a 3-year fully guaranteed deal, to have an opportunity to come in and earn a starting spot at the beginning of the season, and to have carved out a pretty significant role to start, and even if he doesn't end up being in the starting lineup, are you telling me that a sixth-man scoring big who can go out and get himself 15 points on a consistent basis isn't valuable? I think Marvin Bagley's in a position to thrive this season.
What about, and we got to get to Dwayne, because, and we always say this too, our biggest thing is no Dwayne Casey slander. I won't take it for right now. It's too early. But I want to ask you personally too, because this is another thing we've been talking about, is Dwayne Casey this upcoming season. What are your, I guess, overall expectations for Dwayne and this team? Because I get the win total, but what would have to happen this season for you to really question Dwayne as the head coach for the Detroit Pistons?
Yeah, great question, Jeff. I think you'd have to see some genuine regression across the board in order to start questioning Dwayne Casey. And I think the other thing is you would have to see some signs of the locker room starting to not listen to him and starting to slip back. A lot of people this past season, I know, and this is something you and I even talked about on the podcast that's coming out today. A lot of people, I remember this past season, looked at the incident at the beginning of the year with Hamidou Diallo and Dwayne Casey, where there was some argument on the bench that was happening right during the game, and a lot of people were like, oh, he's losing the locker room, look at that. But in reality, that was actually a catalyst for Hamidou Diallo to come out and actually have his best season that he's ever had, to improve drastically on the defensive end, to change the effort that he was bringing to the court, and to earn himself playing time throughout the rest of the season. So you have to see those signs of Dwayne Casey having that effect on players, because as long as the report is still that he has the respect, he has the ears of the locker room, then that's something that you need to see. But I think with Dwayne Casey, it's about seeing that improvement across the board from this team. And Rob Murphy said on the Pistons Pulse podcast that this season still is not entirely based on wins and losses. So I think you're going to have to look at how's Cade developing in year 2? What does Jaden Ivey's season look like, and how does he evolve as a rookie? I think you have to look at a lot of those development aspects, because that's why Dwayne Casey's here, right? Is to develop players and to help this team build a culture. And as long as we're doing that, Dwayne Casey's the right person to have in that seat.
Look, I really don't want to get into Dwayne Casey because he pissed me the hell off last year. His rotation.
That's okay. You're wrong, but you're fine.
I know. I promise you.
Literally. All right. Let's talk about that. What in the world did Dwayne Casey do to piss you off so much as he ended the season by actually having a better record than the Lakers, the Bulls, and the Cavaliers, making the adjustment on the team meeting against the Boston Celtics where they came out and were a completely different team, were a few games under 500 as the season was towards the end, when he actually had a backup big, because for the first third of the season he had Trey Lyles playing big minutes behind Isaiah Stewart. You're really telling me that he had the talent to go out there and actually put something together? This team had $30+
I'm not telling you they needed to win, jackass. Maybe if you'd let me talk. Maybe if you'd let me talk, jackass, I would explain to you why it pissed me the hell off. Because it's not the record, you dick.
Is it the rotations?
It's the goddamn rotation decisions from about late November to early January.
Hey, Adam, can I say something? You can rotate turds around as much as you want. They're still turds. And at the end of the day,
Sean, the team didn't drastically change. They went out and got Marvin Bagley. That helped Cade Cunningham, yes. The problem was he kept Jeremy Grant on the court too goddamn long. He was the primary ball handler.
Kept one of the best players on the team for too long.
Yes, and one of the best players on the Jeremy Grant is butt cheeks, dude.
No, brother, that is a losing argument.
It's not a losing argument. He's a losing player. He brought nothing to you. He had one of the worst plus minuses on the team. When he was on the court, he was taking the most shots, making the most turnovers. Stop it. You had Killian Hayes. Don't you want him to develop? You had Cade Cunningham in his rookie year. You had Sadiq Bey. Stop it. There were enough ball handlers on the team. The way his rotations were set up for the first 3-4 months of the season were mind-boggling, Sean. Don't even sit here and make an excuse for that just because they were fortunate that Grant got hurt, and then they finally went and made a deal for, what's his name, Marvin Bagley. Stop it.
Adam, with all the injuries, with all the health and safety protocols, everything that happened in those first 3 months, are you really telling me
You really want to tell me that Corey Joseph
Casey?
and all these other fucking scrubs are a better option than what you have? Oh, we're just going to play him in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes. We'll just say, Killian Hayes, who needs to play him, right? Stop it, Sean.
You can
Shut
do
the
your
hell up.
mocking voice all you want. It doesn't make you right.
Sean, you
that
watched
this
what I
roster
watched
wasn't-
last year. You cannot argue
did
that from
too.
November to late January, the rotations were pathetic. The fourth quarter rotations were pathetic. Stop it.
Name
I'm not talking
three
about
bigs that
win,
were on the
Sean.
roster this
I'm
last
not
season.
talking about win, Sean. You're sitting here and making an argument. Well, if you rotate turds, they're still turds. I'm not telling you that the roster is competing or that they need to be winning games. What I'm telling you is the wrong players are out on the court, Sean.
That's not okay. First of all, this continual devaluing of what Jeremy Grant was and this complete ignoring reality of who he actually is as a player needs to stop. Because the reality is that Jeremy Grant came in and all these touches. Oh, there's only one ball. The reality is that towards the end of the year, as Cade was actually becoming the #1 ball handler, Jeremy did take that back seat on the offensive end. So this narrative that he was...
He
for
had
whatever
no
reason,
choice because he got injured, and Sadiq Bey and both Cade Cunningham developed massively when he wasn't on the court.
Listen, you can keep making this losing argument all you want, Adam.
You can
It's
call it a
just
losing
that-
argument. I'm just telling you what happened. You're just not having the conversation. You're going to stick to the wins part and that the Cade Cunningham developed at the end of the year and that made it all better and that they covered the spread a shit ton. That's not the point, Sean.
No,
the
dude, there was a
rotations
lot
were
of growing
pathetic.
pains.
And
You
now
wanna
I'm
talk about-
asking you a question. You still haven't answered it.
Yeah, you
what
wanna
do
talk-
the rotations look like this year?
And I literally answered that to you at the beginning. It's going to be experimentation. You want to talk about the reality of it? A guy
Can't
like
wait for
Jalen
Corey
Burns
Joseph
can have
to be out
earn
there.
some minutes as the season goes on. You're going to see more of the veterans coming out to start the season because you want to know what Dwayne Casey does? He starts the season with his veterans, and as the season goes on, more and more opportunities come for the young players because you don't just get to go out on the court day one, just have minutes just because, oh, your age is this? All right, cool. Since you're young, you get all the minutes. There you go. Congratulations. Because the reality of this league, Adam, is because you have to actually allow these players to go out and earn their minutes and earn their spots, and it's going to take something to take it away from a player that like Jeremy Grant or even guys like Corey Joseph. Because say what you will, Adam, those guys have respect. Those guys are NBA veterans with experience. That's why guys like Dwayne Casey don't just give the keys to the young guys day one, because that's not how this league works. It's just not.
Fair enough, Sean. I'll give you it. I'll give you it, Sean. Well done, bud. That was really good, though. I appreciate it, Sean.
I love
Well
it,
done.
man. Sean, keep echoing our sentiments, man.
Well done,
I'm with
bro.
you. I'm with
Well
you,
done.
brother.
We're going to take a quick break. Go ahead, Sean.
It's just always nice to come and check Adam's BS in the morning. It's a good day.
You get it this morning, Sean. Well done. I appreciate it. You did a hell of a job. When we get back, should
Go
the Lions
Pistons.
bring home Ndamukong Suh? They did clear up cap space. I know there's a conversation circling around. I don't agree with it at all. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that's what they did. They made the move for. But, Jeff, before we take a quick break, you need to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Cintron.
Yes. Well, Cintron, I don't have it today, unfortunately, but I got to get one because Cintron will help you, as it helps me, get through the morning. You have Cintron, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. You see it on the picture if you're watching on YouTube. If not, let me tell you about it. They have the sampler box. They have the cranberry, original, and sugar-free. You can pre-order your sampler box at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Don't forget, get energized with Cintron.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the Odds Trader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to Odds Trader, and best of luck.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
The Monroe Street Midway is open until September 25th, so you still have 11 more days to experience Detroit with roller skating, mini golf, art installations, live music, food trucks, and much more. A fun, safe event for everybody to go to. The summer is better at the Monroe Street Midway, brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff Iafrate on a beautiful morning. Sean was excellent.
Yeah, you know what? And
Sean was
I didn't want to get in there and double team you. I
mean, it was all good. It's all good.
I let you guys go at it.
I love it.
It was good. It was good banter.
It was great.
Because what he's saying is what we say all the time on From Half Court. So it was like music to my ears. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Fair enough. Well, let's get into it. Ndamukong Suh is the talk of the town right now. I don't understand why. I don't understand why he would want to be here. Explain it to me.
Yeah, well, I'm right with you, by the way. Let's look at it from Suh's perspective. Would you want to come to a team that's not contending? Probably not at his age. But let's look at it from the Lions' perspective. They converted Michael Brocker's his salary. Now you create $4 million in cap space. I don't know how much it would take. I really don't, especially for a team that's not winning right now. But would you be okay if Suh was signed to the Detroit Lions? And I'll answer by saying yes. I think it'd be a good addition for a lot of reasons. Number one being this defensive line is a very young defensive line as well. And a guy like Suh, I think, and you could talk about Suh and the things he did in Detroit, but I'll talk about the good things he did. And I think something like that would be a great benefit to this Detroit Lions team. But the reality is, what would he do this year for you? Like, that's the question. Does he bump you from 7 wins to 8, 9 wins? I don't know. I don't think so. But I think from a veteran perspective, somebody that the other guys can learn from, I really do. I like the idea of bringing in Ndamukong Suh in. I just don't think it's likely, and I don't think it'll happen because, for one, from Suh's perspective, I don't think it'll happen, and from the Lions' perspective, I don't know if they'll go out and sign anybody because it's kind of like the Pistons in a way. You look at what you have in the Detroit Lions, and you want to just see if it'll play out. Let Aleem get as many reps as he can. When Levi comes back, when he comes back, you want him to get the reps. You want Josh Pascal, when he gets back, to get those reps. So, again, I don't think it'll happen, but Mike is right. We do need help in the middle, and a guy like Suh, I think, would definitely benefit this team in the defensive line.
Yeah, I think I kind of get lost on this one is if I was in Suh's situation and I was looking to return to the NFL, I'd want to go to a contender, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that is the end-all, be-all. Now, if he's looking to get paid or just wants an opportunity, that's a different conversation. But I think Suh has been made it very clear by now. Hey, I'm looking to join a contending team. And the Lions are not that. Now, would it be a nice story? Suh comes back home, etc.? Sure. Would it make headlines? Sure. That'd be cool. But there's nothing here. There isn't. And at the stage he is in his career, he is more valuable to a team that is ready to contend than he is a team like the Lions, who really don't have their identity fully built yet, are still a work in progress, are looking to win 5, 6, 7, 8 games this year. It is not the right situation. Now, if he wants to come here for less money and develop a leadership role, sure. But I don't see it. I don't see why it makes sense for him either.
Yeah, I think for me, and I think you're on the same page, is the likelihood of it happening and would you like it to happen? Now, the likelihood is it won't happen, but personally, I wouldn't mind, and I would actually like if it happened. But again, it depends what Suh you're getting. I get people want to bring up the toxic Suh from when he was here.
Nah, we're done with that. How old is he? 33 years old now? 34?
I'm over that. It's mostly what he can do to contribute to this team. And I think with Suh, I do think he could still contribute. I mean, even he doesn't have to be as dominant as he was. I mean, you can get me 5, 6 sacks and we'll take it, but I just don't think it's likely. I don't think it'll happen. But from my perspective and what I would want, I think it'd be beneficial. But it's very unlikely. If he comes back into the league and joins a team, it's going to be a team that's contending. So that's how I feel. And I'm pretty sure we mutually agree there.
Yeah, not much here. So we'll move on. We'll get to the final topic of the day, and then mailbag, of course, at 9:50. But before we do, the best defense on and off the field.
Yeah, well, we talk about what Suh can bring to this defense. I'll talk about what Guardy Alarm brings. They're solid. They're reliable. Summertime is over, and that means you're still spending a little time outside in the fall before winter gets here. So let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine, still while it lasts. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. You heard Fish. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
You brought your punching bag.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Let me tell you guys about a very, very good deal by Big Frog, and that's a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long in Big Frog and Novi. Stop in, tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. Go to Big Frog and Novi today, get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff, a few things we want to get into. Before we move on, question for you. What is this team, and this team meaning the Detroit Lions, what is their biggest hole right now?
Biggest hole right now, you got to start defensively, and I think it'd have to be that linebacker core, because it has nothing to do with Malcolm Rodriguez, but it has everything to do with what's around him as well. I mean, you have a guy who you drafted in the 6th round who I think is going to have a chance to play a lot this year. But it also speaks to the lack of depth at linebacker. I mean, you signed Chris Board in the offseason. You already have Anzalone, which Anzalone on many other teams isn't starting. So that's probably still the hole on this team. The defensive line, you could bring it up, but there's still a lot of talent on the defensive line. Young guys, but they have to prove themselves. The linebackers, you don't have young talent. You have Derek Barnes, who you would expect more out of. I know he had a decent game against the Philadelphia Eagles, but he ain't, your starting linebacker. So there's a lot of things they're going to have to address. That's why, when Roquan Smith becomes available, it's a conversation we have to have, because it is, I think, the biggest hole on this team right now. And it's really been the biggest hole on the Lions for quite some time. They just have never had that marquee linebacker. There's been a couple instances where you've had linebackers who have had breakout seasons, like DeAndre Levy, but still, you're going to need that linebacker, a marquee linebacker on this defense moving forward.
So I disagree.
Where else?
On the sidelines.
Oh my God.
No, I'm being serious.
Explain. No, I'll let you give your case, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Just tell me.
All right, well, tell me why I'm wrong that Aaron Glenn had an entire offseason to prepare his defensive front for Jalen Hurts, and they lacked any responsibility in the first half. Hear me out.
Okay. No, I'll let you go.
Explain to me, and again, it's only one game. I'm not talking for the rest of the season, but we're talking right now. The biggest weakness they have, because that linebacker ranked middle of the pack in the league, I believe number 12 from their performance over the weekend. They played better than you thought they were. The coaching, a timeout before the half, allows 3 points, makes it a 2-score game. Eagles come out and score 7 in the first half, in the second half, where you call a timeout, you get burnt on the next play. We're very reminiscent, like surprise, surprise here. And then, of course, you score and you kick an onside kick, set them up for short field position. They go and punish you and get 7. And you had faith in your defense that hadn't stopped them in over a quarter and a half. That's the defense you had faith in. They scored 24 in the second quarter, excuse me. And they had scored 7, and you gave them short field to work with. They had scored 31 points, and then you gave them the 38th. Coaching right now, I think, is a big concern. Not that they're not going to figure it out. They won't get better. But the question has to be asked. What are you doing defensively, Aaron Glenn, to coach up this team? What are you doing as a head coach to prepare your team, make sure everyone is being held accountable? And what halftime adjustments did you make? Because you didn't make any outside of looking better on offense. And we all know the reality of the NFL. When you're up 3 scores, you're up 17 late in the third, you're up 17 early in the fourth, you're kind of just playing the clock game at that point as a defense. We saw with the Niners in the opener last year, you outscored them 16-3 in the fourth quarter, and you came on, all of you, in the next that Monday morning, really positive about the takeaways in the second half. You outscored the Eagles 14-0 in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Only lost by 3. For me, I think the biggest weakness right now is coaching, and I don't want to say that. I don't. Just like I don't want to say Jeff Okudah is a bum. But when you don't play your first 2 years, I mean, you're going to be called a bust. I'm sorry. That's part of the equation.
Right.
And if he would have played poorly on Sunday, that would not have been good for him. But he didn't. He played good. So I can leave it. Cool. I don't want to have to talk about coaching decisions. And it just so happens that we're always doing it with this coaching staff, specifically Dan, and now Aaron Glenn, who I'm being told, again, is a lock to get a job in the NFL. Jeff?
I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
You said at the beginning that you didn't think Aaron Glenn, he had all offseason to prepare for Jalen Hurts, right?
Yes.
And you felt like they were unprepared.
They were not disciplined.
But does that speak to coaching, or does that speak to the youth on that defensive line?
No, it's coaching.
So you're telling me, for a rookie, Charles Harris, who had a breakout season last year under Aaron Glenn.
Yep.
And Ali McNeil, who's in his second year. You don't have Levi Onwuzurike. You have John Kaminsky, who's didn't play at all last year. I want to ask you, what would this defensive line? What were you expecting out of these guys? Like, because we talk about lack of talent on defense. As a defensive coordinator, yes, it's important to put your guys in the best position. But what did he do last year? Like, the defense was the reason why the Lions were in games.
Their talent was not the issue on Sunday.
Okay.
Coaching, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
When you are over pursuing, when you are so vertical up the field as a defensive lineman, and you break containment, which they were a little better in the second half on, but Jalen Hurts didn't need to do anything. They were just running the ball, running the clock, and moving on. Mm-hmm. But up until then, they had no containment. And what the hell are you doing on the sidelines for 2 quarters? And then at halftime, what are we doing here? And you knew what Hurts could do to hurt you. You knew that Anzalone and Rodriguez weren't fat. We know this.
Yeah.
Yes, the talent isn't the best. But Aaron Glenn, again, someone that... How many times have we had the conversation about him being in the running for a job? Because of the performances he had last year.
And he still is.
Even if I agree with that, how is that going to get you a job? How?
Because, Adam, let me explain this. Because we talked about the youth on this defense. They're going to have to get better. They're going to get better game by game because of the youth on the defense. You expect Aidan, Malcolm Rodriguez.
No, I don't. See, that's the thing is I'm not going into that game with the expectation that they are going to dominate. My expectation is that you fundamentally do the right things. Why was Malcolm Rodriguez the fifth highest rated linebacker?
Was that not because of coaching? That you don't think that helped him?
He had 0 missed assignments. How many missed, quote, assignments did the defensive front have? More than I could count.
So you're blaming that on...
I'm not blaming it just on the players, though. That is coaching.
That's what I'm saying.
And what has Malcolm Rodriguez what has his tendency been all off season before a game has ever been played? What have we been talking about? He does his job. He does his job.
But he's also coachable, and he listens, and he adjusts quicker.
Fine. So but we're not going to sit here and say that the defensive front isn't coachable. We're not going to have that.
No, I'm not saying that.
I know that. That's why I'm saying it, to clarify.
For a defensive line that is so young, that the only thing I'm confused by, and I want to ask you too, is are you expecting for Aaron Glenn to turn water into wine? Is that what you're expecting?
No.
Because what are you expecting to do with this defense?
Again,
against a Philly team.
No, just fundamentals. Just fundamentals.
You don't think they win over fundamentals this whole offseason?
I'd hope so, because I didn't see it on Sunday.
Against Jalen freaking Hurts. That's probably the hardest one of the hardest quarterbacks to game plan for. Adam, I can tell you for 3 months, do X, Y, and Z to contain Jalen Hurts. And then you get out on that field against Jalen Hurts, against an offensive line who is much more superior, and it's different.
Breaking containment.
It's very different.
But breaking containment, if you told me you had 3 months to get after Jalen Hurts and sack him, that would have been difficult. And you would have a point there. But when you're telling me I had 3 months, however long you want to put it, to just understand my assignment as a defensive end or anybody securing the edge, you can't allow what happened in the first half to happen. That was the #1 game plan. That was it. Don't let Jalen Hurts out of the pocket, and you let him because you were over pursuing. And again, it's only one game. But right now, where's the coaching? Where's the coaching? Because they let you down on the defensive side of the ball in the first half.
What happened in the second half?
Wait. In the second half, they were up 17, and they were killing you on the ground with Miles Sanders. That's what happened in the second half. And then your head coach, again, gave them 3 points before half, gave them another 7 in the third quarter, and you ended up losing by 3. Like we agree, the talent is more on the offensive side of the ball, yes?
Yes.
Okay. The defensive side of the ball, again, not as talented. But where's the coaching, Jeff? I'm not asking for 7 sacks, dude. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not telling you that I expected all these players to dominate. What I'm telling you is, when you are breaking containment the way they did, what have you been doing to prepare for the game?
Okay, let me ask you this. Last year, Aaron Glenn with this defense, he turned Jerry Jacobs and A.J. Parker. These guys, Austin Bryant, a guy that I thought was a bust. He looked better under Aaron Glenn. So you're talking about guys that have gotten better, guys that are making plays under Aaron Glenn last year for this defense. And you're telling me a defense that added Aidan Hutchinson week 1 against a Philly team who we don't even have to talk about Philly because we've covered Philly for a while. You know how good they are. You're going to say them struggling against Philly happens to fall on Aaron Glenn's shoulders. I get it. If you want to call out
No.
It's up to the players.
We're actually agreeing. That's what's pissing me off right now. We're actually agreeing.
So what is the point you're making?
So you're overvaluing the individual.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, which I agree, right? They're all individually. It's not the most talented defense.
No,
we agree.
It's not.
We do agree. We knew they were going to struggle. We agree. But the point I'm trying to make is, as coaches, our responsibility. We're in the room, Jeff. We're preparing for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Me and you are having a conversation.
Absolutely.
You're the defensive coordinator. I'm the offensive coordinator. And then our head coach is over there standing. It's Fish. Mm-hmm. We're explaining to Fish. I'm on the offensive side. I'm explaining everything we're going to do to attack the weaknesses of the Philadelphia Eagles defense and what we think will work, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to stand up there and say, all right, well, here's what the deal is, Coach. Right now, we cannot do 1, 2, and 3, or they will kill us. We cannot leave A.J. Brown in single-man coverage for the whole game. He will burn us. Coach, we cannot break containment or we will get punished. Coaching. It's just
and
coaching.
You don't think he did that?
No, it's not that he did. They didn't execute.
So whose fault is... Okay.
From a coaching and player, again, we're agreeing. The players did not execute to the level. They were over-pursuing.
Right.
But again, preparation. If they would have gone in, just like they did with Lamar Jackson, didn't we praise Aaron Glenn after the game with Lamar Jackson?
Absolutely.
Didn't they contain him?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. It can't work both ways.
You can't contain him. You can't contain. You expect him just to eliminate.
But the
Lamar,
way they contained him was, again, the way they contained him was they kept him in the pocket, and it would have taken something extraordinary to beat them, which Lamar did, which I can live with.
Right.
But do not allow Jalen Hurts to just run up the field because you are lacking discipline as a defense. It has to be addressed. After the second drive, it should have been addressed. So that's all I'm saying,
So
Jeff.
let me just ask you this. So we're on the same page. You said that. So we agree that Aaron Glenn had these guys prepared. Because if you're saying he didn't have them prepared, I disagree with you. I think he had them prepared. So would you agree with me there?
He had them
prepared.
He had them prepared.
And so what happened on the field?
They weren't. First of all, if they went in prepared, they weren't doing their assignments. You can blame the individual. That's fine. But as a coach, what do I stand there and I tell him, hey, Jimmy, just keep doing what you're doing? No. And even if he did say it, again, coaching matters in the NFL, man. There's a reason why Bill Belichick can win 9 games last year. Coaching. Inexperienced defense, not the most talented. I agree.
Yeah,
but I do think some of these decisions, and for the obvious to happen, which was not having containment on Jalen Hurts, if he would have beat you, thrown for 300 yards, ran for 50 because
that's fine.
he broke a sack, he spun around, and he ran 20 yards downfield, dude, I'm not sitting here killing anybody for it. But when you are making the same mistake by over-pursuing and leaving 2 gaps in the middle of the field for him to run on, that is coaching and the players. And I think it's a coaching problem, too. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
He had most of those big runs in the first half, though. So,
yes.
So what happened in the second half?
They were running the ball with Miles Sanders, and they were just fine moving it up the field, and Dallas Goedert was burning you along with A.J. Brown. He didn't need to run in the second half.
But you're saying, your point is, it's the lack of discipline.
Yes, but
containing Jalen Hurts. That's what you said.
Well,
so they did
the lack of discipline, Jeff, cost you 24 points in the second quarter. You couldn't overcome it. That's where I'm getting at.
But that happened last year against San Francisco. And what happened throughout the season? They got better. And the defense.
I'm not saying they won't get better either, though.
You said the biggest hole on this team is coaching.
Is coaching right now. After week 1, the 3 decisions Dan Campbell made, along with Aaron Glenn and their preparation for Jalen Hurts. The Lions should have won that game, Jeff.
I watched the game, and I don't think it's on the coaching. And I get it. You want to question some things, but. We have to hold these players accountable.
We do. And the coaches do too.
Oh,
and if
absolutely.
the player is not doing his job, pull him off the damn field. Because he's hurting your team.
So you're going to pull who off the field?
You pull Aidan Hutchinson.
You're going to pull Aidan Hutchinson
God damn
off
it,
the
Jeff.
field.
Yes.
He's your best edge rusher, and he couldn't even get pressure. So what do you do?
I don't need them to. Again, we're misdiagnosing pressure and doing your job. If these edge rushers would have done their job in the first half, you're not getting beaten for 60 yards on the ground from Jalen Hurts.
Didn't you just say earlier that Aidan Hutchinson was actually pretty good against the run? Didn't you say that?
What do you mean?
Didn't you say, we talked about Aidan earlier, how he was actually pretty good against the run?
Yeah, but that's not Jalen Hurts. That's against Miles Sanders when they handed the ball off. Yes.
But that's the problem. It's his first. You're adjusting to a quarterback like Jalen Hurts he has not seen yet.
I understand. I'm not killing an individual for it. What I'm telling you is coaching should have done better.
The defense is playing a guy that in the first game that's hard to game plan for. So I don't know. Well, we got to move on. We got 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes. We didn't even get to break. All right, mailbag time. God damn it. Mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. We went over. I apologize, everybody. Let's get in as many questions as we can. Let's see. The answer isn't to put less talented guys out to get killed. The answer is to make sure going into a game, and can we agree on this? That you have over-communicated to your players, this is your job. And when they aren't doing it on the field during the game, you pull them aside. I don't need you going here. I need you containing. That's all you have to do as a coach.
And you don't think he did.
And I'm not saying it's easy. It's easier said than done.
Right.
I'm not saying it's the best talent to work with. But, Jeff, that's what coaching does. They make the players perform better.
We'll see this week. Because I bet you...
And I bet you it'll be a better...
money.
I'll bet you it'll be a better performance. That's not the point.
So then why is the biggest hole coaching if they're going to get better?
We're one weekend. That's why. Are you more concerned after week 1 with the linebackers and them having the 12th best linebacking core after week 1? Or the coaching? Are you more concerned with the offense that put up 35 points or the coaching? Are you more concerned with a very dominant offensive line or the coaching? That's all I'm asking. Am I concerned?
Well, it's hard to evaluate this defensive line against an offensive line like that, like Phillies. But again, we agree to disagree, but we'll see. We'll continue this conversation. We will.
All right.
We'll get back to it.
Let's see.
2 minutes.
How is Hurts hard to game plan for? A question from Pat Riley. They literally played them last year.
And they got blown out last year. So that's why he's hard to game plan for. Like, it's hard to game plan for guys that can do things off script like Jalen Hurts. You can't simply game plan. Like you said, you can in a way by saying contain him, but it's different from saying, guys, we have to contain Jalen Hurts, we have to contain Lamar Jackson, and then you're actually on the field facing Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts. It's just different. It's hard to game plan. It's easy to game plan for guys that are pocket passers, but that's how I feel about it.
Garrett says, Adam, if you're not pressuring the quarterback, then he just sits back there and picks you apart. Excuse me, last I checked, going into the game, what you could not allow to happen, Jeff, did we agree, not yes or no, before the game, was to allow Jalen Hurts to run all over you. Mm-hmm. That was the game plan. Keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm.
And I'm sure that was their game plan.
But they did not execute. Even if I can say, hey, guy, just like Dan Campbell sits up there in the press conference, I felt like we could have got a turnover. Well, you didn't. I don't care what you felt. But I felt like our defense would have made a stop. You have to execute, man. You just have to. It's on the players too. I'm not dissolving the players from this. I'm not excusing them. But coaching matters just as much. Let's see what other questions we have before we go. It's already 10 o'clock. I want to answer a few more, Jeff. Literally, let's see. Mailbag, so the biggest hole isn't Goff's inconsistency at quarterback. How about Lamar deny contract? He could be a Lion next year. Lamar's going to get franchise tagged, and he's going to get extended.
Yeah, there's
no chance he walks.
Yeah, me either. I don't think so.
No chance he walks. So that's it for the show today. We got to get Sean back on again. That was awesome. We got to revisit this conversation tomorrow.
We'll do it.
We have to. There's more common ground than we think, but that's fine. We'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching this morning. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the network if you haven't already.
Jeff and Gentry show, new episode comes out at 10:30.
Hell yeah,
check
absolutely.
out that Jeff and Gentry YouTube.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Thursday, Big D coming up at 11 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you.
More football, 9 games. Enjoy them.